faithful. When number 8 speaks, you listen.
Let Brock cook.
Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. Owens! 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 Owens!
The catch number 2, I go, well, Steve, what would you like it to be called? He goes, the pass! The pass!
It's time for the 3-time champion, 2-time NFL MVP, and Super Bowl 29 MVP, Hall of Famer Steve Young with Murph and Markus.
Yeah, you guys are the best, and really are the best. And Murph, we've been together a long time, great friends, and so it's nice to connect and nice to be home.
On the Sports Leader.
We love it. Every other Wednesday at this time, the man steps in to talk football, life, and you name it. Steve Young on the UMA guest line. Steve, we are in Hawaii, where you used to Pro Bowl, my friend. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah, it's some tough. It's amazing to me when I think about the game today. And we'd go to the Pro Bowl, and I never took a bigger beating in any game I ever played than in the Pro Bowl. You just get beat to heck, and it was brutal. And that's where Brent Jones, remember, he broke his leg, and like the Pro Bowl used to be the most dangerous thing you ever did. But he went over to Hawaii and did it. And it just makes me laugh now thinking about today, where guys don't even play in the preseason; they take zero risk. So it's funny.
You guys were tough, man, and that AstroTurf.
Well, no, we're not tougher. It's just that they did. It's just the things we did. Like, can you imagine going over to Hawaii and taking a beating like after the end of the season? Like, it's brutal.
I always looked at that AstroTurf at the Aloha Bowl was a little sketch too.
Brutal. Like your back porch. It's like literally like your back porch, like the little thing, the little green paint.
How are we not growing grass in Hawaii, too, man? Come on, man. All right. Well, listen, before we get into football and life, we always try to help out the community in the world. You do such a great job with your first responders. And today we want to welcome Christine Garcia, the Chief Executive Officer of Side by Side, which is an organization that works with young people who are impacted by adversity on their journeys to adulthood as they heal from trauma and embrace their own potential. So, Steve and Christine, welcome. And Steve, do you want to start, or we start here? But Christine, welcome.
I mean, we talk about, we want to welcome you to KMBR family, and we want to hear about the program. But more than anything, why? I mean, you know that kids are suffering, kids are going through all kinds of challenges, and how did you get started, and how can we help?
Oh, my goodness. That is a very long story, and I'll try to tell you in just 30 seconds or so. But I have been committed to helping underserved youth my entire life. And Side by Side has been around for 130 years. We celebrated that this year. We started out as an orphanage, and now we're serving youth all across the Bay Area, including Alameda, Napa, Sonoma, and Marin counties. And we do everything from, I like to say, soup to nuts, kids from 5 to 26 years old, providing them with housing, basic needs, mental health support. We have our own non-public school for kids who can't make it in their home public schools and need more support. They come to us, and we have about a 90% success rate in getting those kids settled and back in their home schools with their friends so that they can graduate and be the people that they are meant to be, that they want to be. We also are in the schools providing mental health services and early intervention so that kids, as we know, need that support and don't fall into the types of behaviors that get them off track and much later on become unhoused and become really depressed and being in situations that are very high risk and detrimental to them and to all of us in society. So that's a little bit of our history.
Yeah, the difference that you can make in a young person's life in the years in front of them, if we can get them in a place of safety and health and wellness. And so that's incredible. How can we help? How can we jump in and give you aid in which is obviously universally people would say is the most important work in the world is what you're doing?
Thank you so much. Well, being on this show is a huge help already. Thank you so much. And I think there are many ways to help us. One is to just get the word out about us and what we do, because we want to meet kids where they are, and we want to be able to help as many youth as we can. And number two, or maybe number one, is we need more donations. We need more support because unfortunately, early intervention programs are not getting as much funding as other programs. And so we need a lot more to support what we do for our youth of today. And then we also need board members. We need, if you can't make financial donations to us, we also need donations of clothing, food items, any sort of things that will help our kids with the basic needs of life. So I ask people to come to our website at www.sidebysideyouth.org, and you can learn all about all the different things that we do and that we've been doing for 130 years now.
Amazing.
I'm
Side
not
by
that old,
side.
but the organization.
Yeah, that's
yes.
Christine. Thank you. Sidebysideyouth.com or .org. Did you say org or com?
.org.
.org. Sidebysideyouth.org. Let's Barry. Let's come. Like this is the work. This is the nitty gritty of why we're going to be great community. And Christy, thank you for your lifetimes. It's just inspiring to me. I get goosebumps thinking about your life out there doing this for your, like tip of the spear kind of help for the kids that need it. And that makes our community so great. And we're lucky to be near you. We always say, like, we're going to talk about Brock Purdy, or we're going to talk about, George Kittle. We're going to talk about all these heroes that we have, but we also know there's silent heroes out there that are making a huge difference in people's lives, and you're one of them. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Steve. Have a good day.
Christine Garcia,
thanks so much.
Side by Side. I have the website up right now. The Donate Now button is easy to find right at the top. They have videos of stories of the kids who have been helped. And like you said, Steve, man, these are just people that are out there, a lot of people, they want to selfishly pursue something that makes their lives better. And the people like Christine pursue something that makes other people's lives better. Yeah.
Crazy. These people just reflexively go back into the fire to help. Like it's nuts.
No, it's unbelievable. And thank you for shining a light on them every Wednesday in the morning and the afternoon.
We're all in the same boat. We need to. The community needs to know who's doing this work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who are these people? Like, that's the thing. We just got to shout their name. Like, who's doing this stuff?
Shout out Christine. Shout out Christine Garcia's name, and these are angels on earth there. So there you go. Then we get to the silly stuff, the popcorn and the candy, football, and Brock Purdy. You told Christine you were going to talk about Brock Purdy, so let's talk about him, Steve. The numbers weren't eye-popping, 19 of 26 for 200, but it felt right. 3 touchdowns to a couple. McCaffrey and Kittle got involved. What'd you see, Steve? What'd you see?
Yeah, I saw what it's like. It always is relieving to see the same quarterback. Like Brock was Brock. In other words, he wasn't fully healthy, but it felt resonant, right? It's like that's the guy that not making big mistakes and processing awesome and leading and there's a calming force in that. And so and because of that, you felt like you weren't sure. You haven't seen him for so long. You're like, what's it going to be like? It's just natural, right? You're like, is this going to be okay? And then it is. It's fine. Now, it doesn't mean that everything's wonderful. It just means that we're back on track. And now we know if Mac has to come in, I don't need to worry about that. He'll get on his track and go. And if Brock's good, we're good. And so that way in the NFL, today's game, it's about the quarterback. And that's just a fact. And so we're in a good spot at quarterback. That doesn't mean everything's going to, like everything else is in a great spot, but that's in a good spot and we can calm down about that. That's good.
Steve, what stood out to me is it seemed like the chemistry between Brock and George Kittle didn't skip a beat. The game started, second touchdown, 30-yard pass down the field. And one stat that stood out to me that Josh DeBow from the Associated Press put out is that since the year 2000, Brock Purdy and George Kittle have the highest passer rating between a quarterback and a receiver at 141.4. To put that into perspective, I went back and I looked it up. You and Jerry Rice had a combined rating of 108.9, if that puts it into perspective, Steve.
Oh, I see where you're going. Like, that's amazing. Like, to me, the efficiency of a relationship like that is, I love the data in that, because tight ends are I always say Brent Jones was a security blanket. Like in the NFL, like nobody's open. So all of a sudden the tight end is in a space where it's closer to you. It's 3rd and 4, and now all of a sudden you have an answer. You don't have to take some big risk outside. You've got your tight end hanging in there where it's close and comfortable. And if you got a guy, George, who very much like Brent really understands spatial relationships and knows how to rub off of a linebacker and find a little opening and catch the ball, and then has the threat to be able to take it to the house. So I love that. It makes sense to me. A tight end relationship that's highly efficient makes sense to me because of where they line up. And George just keeps. He's the gift that keeps on giving, man. So I and his leadership and his spirit. Can you imagine? We're losing Fred was painful because Fred's that guy in the locker room. But George, you can see when he's kind of, I don't know. Do you feel like he's even jumped in for some of Fred's leadership and just kind of taken the whole thing on, where maybe he didn't feel like he needed to before, and now he's the just de facto spokesman for the team? And I would want no one more to be that spokesman for the team and kind of represent the spirit of it. So it's not just on the field. It's not just the efficiency and all the stuff that's happening in game time. It's post game. It's the image he portrays. It's how he treats people. So in that way, so much about George is more valuable than even what's happening on the field.
He is such a unique personality. I'm trying to think, when I was in that locker room in the 90s, yeah, Brent and you were, and obviously Ronnie before that in the 80s, but, Tim McDonald, Ken Norton, whoever, Bryant Young, these were the ballast of the locker room, right? The offensive line too, Harris and that crew. But I'm wondering, you didn't have somebody as wacky or zany as George Kittle. I wonder if he's a product of his generation, sort of pro wrestling or something, or
totally.
I don't know.
I think he took to the pro. I mean, I guess he would be zany. He'd be equally zany back then. Like, I think it's just the personality is, and I think it is the pro wrestling and the performance and pro wrestling's kind of performative. Like it's like a choreographed dance step. Everyone's like then goes crazy and it's just his. But it's not just what drives it. It's like who he is. Like he's somebody that looks at life as 3/4 full, and no matter what, right? And so you just want to be around people like that, and especially in the locker room when there's so much brain damage going on. That's the wrong metaphor, but so much like drama, so much fatigue, emotional fatigue, losses that are just gutting, and coaches and players worried about their jobs and can I keep doing this for much longer? If this, it's like all that stuff that's happening in the locker room. And George just comes in and says, "Hey, it's all good. We're good. It's going to be fine. Everyone jump on the band, jump on the band and wagon, and we're going to go." And I think there's something super powerful in the zaniness that is irrational at times, right? It's because you want to say, George, it's not going well. George, there's trouble in the River City, man. This is really bad. And George would be like, "Oh no, we're good." And I think there's that is a quality that every NFL squad, you call it zany, and I understand why you say that because it is a little fun and zany, but it's that incredible strength about being positive that can keep you from a whole team, a whole organization from dive bombing into dread that you've seen people do.
It's so funny. You always remember that story I heard from Ronald Reagan. They said when the boy went down on Christmas morning and his entire living room was filled with manure, and he grabs a shovel and he starts shoveling, and his brother comes to the top of the stairs and says, "What are you doing? The room's full of manure." He goes, "Yeah, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere."
There's got to be something. It's got to be that. Totally, that's a perfect George Kittle story.
That's Kittle.
I find myself
Ronald Reagan used to tell
George.
that one.
Yeah, but I love that because I find myself watching George, especially just recently. I don't know what it is about, and I think it's because there's less leaders to speak after the game, and he kind of has jumped in. But I'm inspired. Like I was like, I want to go play. George makes me want to go play again. I mean, like he's that guy, and I think that's fun. It's awesome.
Steve, we saw Christian McCaffrey have a hat trick this weekend with 3 touchdowns, and we've talked about the comparisons to Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk as Christian McCaffrey is on his way to have another 1,000 and 1,000 season. But I got to get your breakdown on what a blessing it is to have a running back that can line up outside and pick up a first down on third and 15 on a comeback route.
And the matchups that it forces and the clarity when you put a back out, the defense has to speak to you. And they can't be right. And so that in that way, if you had like a Ricky Waters, that's why I remember, you guys hear me talk all the time. The worst thing I ever did is let Ricky walk off to Philadelphia, is because the threat of a person out of position forces the defense to scream back at you. Here's what we're doing. And that's power, man. That's like, before I even get the ball in my hands, I kind of know they're extended. And now you've got a guy that can do everything out there. It's not just a threat. He can actually accomplish it. And that's odd. Very few people can line up on the field in a much different place, like a corner lining up at linebacker. Like, you can't do that. That'd be brutal. Like a lineman going out to receive. Like, it's changing positions is super rare in the NFL. And being able to do them, effectively and threaten. That's why Christian is a guy that you deploy in so many ways, and is perfect for the game in 2025. He would have been great in 2000, but we would not have been able to get all of who he is. The game is so much more wide open today. It opens up even more for Christian and who he is. So he timed it perfectly to get the most of the great Christian McCaffrey. He got out of Carolina. He found the one of 3 or 4 or 5 teams in the league that can find a way to deploy him that way. And then now the full measure of who he is. And that's the dream every player has, that very rarely gets fully realized, is that you get to a place where they can get all of you and they can expose all the talent. And so many guys are toiling in crappy teams, not getting the most of themselves. And I'm just telling you, Christian is the dream, where as a player you get to show everything who you are, and you're in a place where they just keep exposing it more and more and more, and it just gets more and more beautiful. So I guess everyone in the league should relish the chance that Christian McCaffrey has right now.
He's absolutely incredible. Leads the NFL in touches, leads the NFL in yards from scrimmage. He's got another game Monday night. He's got a big game Saturday. Steve, the last thing the big one we got to hit with you is what's going on the other side of the ball. I got the numbers in front of me. When you were in the Niners, you got here in 87 all the way up through 99. There was maybe 1 or 2 years when they were not a top 10 defense, but for the most part, you had the security blanket of a top 10 defense, yards and points. And right now, Steve, they don't have that.
No.
They don't have anything close to that. So we've been saying it all week. I'm after what the Rams did to him, and then Brissett completing 47 passes. I feel like, Steve, you don't got to score 30 now. I feel like they got to score 40.
And the issue, when we were think about a couple of years ago when we were fully loaded, and Joe Burrow shows up and torches us, and then Lamar Jackson showed up and torched us, and we know what Patrick Mahomes did, and so the great quarterbacks are great because they take you down even when you're fully loaded, and we're not. And George talked about it very openly post game. It was like, we're not fully loaded, and we get that. And so I think what the problem with the NFL is, because it's predatory more than college, everyone smells trouble. And so when you can't fight back and you can't threaten, what happens is people lean in, and you get 47 completions, right? It's like people lean, like they're like, oh, I smell trouble, and I'm gonna tear you up. And so week to week, as we get going here, we've got to find a way to change the narrative so that the 6 days in between games, people aren't licking their chops. They're not like, I can't wait to get to this game because we're just gonna crush it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can smell it. They can smell the blood in the water. And so in that way, that predatory way, it gets worse. And I don't want to scare everyone, but it gets harder and harder to play great defense when people start to smell that. So that's why something big has to happen, a big turnover game or something that just gets us off of that narrative, so that the next 6 days we have to wait, that there's a different speech that the coaches mentioned on Wednesdays in installations and the teams that we're going to play. Now, luckily, and I say this very carefully, but luckily, we're not facing the Chiefs or the Lions or the Eagles or whoever. I mean, the top of the league. We're facing teams that we're favored, and we have an opportunity to maybe change that narrative defensively. And I pray we do. I pray we can, because we do not want to carry this. If we somehow get into the playoffs and we win the division or do something that's, would be amazing if we can do that and we get into a playoff game. Please tell me that narrative has gotten changed, because otherwise, these best teams in the league, we won't survive. And so we've got to change the narrative. And the only way to do that is on the field and to do it against against the odds of what we're seeing, because we saw the Cardinals play terrible. I mean, that was just like people say, well, you're gonna you're just gonna lose on purpose. Or like, they're not gonna lose on purpose, but they played so unemotionally available. I thought they were terrible, but offensively, you could tell that they were like, no, these guys they have a weakness. We're going to take advantage of it. And so we got to be super careful here.
Man, well said. And you're right, man. It starts with maybe sacking the quarterback a few times.
Yeah,
and
just
stripping them.
You got to somehow, the narrative
give
has
a visual.
To change.
Yeah, they got to visual. Crush it.
Something, yeah, you have to. Because the teams that we played that felt like this, you could see not the fear, but you could see the they didn't have. Like people with, you have this image of threat, and they know it. You can sense it. And if you don't, you also sense it. You shrink because you can't do anything about it. And I've played against teams like that, and it's a tough spot to be in.
Man, well said, well said. Well, we won't talk to you next week, Steve, because we're off. Besides, you'd actually do the afternoon next week. So happy Thanksgiving to your beautiful family.
Yeah,
and amazing. Are you got the turkey? You guys road tripping? Are you?
Oh yeah, no,
are you cooking?
I've screwed up a lot of turkeys. I mean, let's be honest. But it's not without effort. In other words, my wife's like, "Hey, honey, you tried. You gave it your best shot." And so there's that spirit of like, and I've yet to perfect it. People want me to start to fry them. I'm like, no, that could go really wrong, So it's a pressure day. I feel like I could screw it up again. I'm trying to find some fail-safe that just can't go wrong. So I have people giving me some tips. So we'll see how it goes.
It's a pressure day. It's not supposed to be a pressure day. It's supposed to be mashed potatoes,
I know. It's supposed
gravy,
to be relaxed. I know.
Football.
I know. I wish I could just mail it in. I wish I could just sit back and relax. But like life, there's stuff you got to get some. There's things you got to get it done. And
you got to wake up that morning and be great that day.
Not my best.
You got to go be.
It's not my best quality. And my kids do nothing to help the problem. Like no one's grown into like, hey Dad, let me take the turkey from here. Let me handle it. Like nobody. Nobody's like, oh well, maybe Dad screws it up again. We'll see how it goes. Like nobody wants to jump in.
Well, you putting your, you're the one under center. You're taking the snap. You're dropping back in the pocket. You're going to go for it. You're going to go for it, man. So
the truth. The ball's in my hand.
I will walk around that Thursday knowing that you're giving your best effort, and we will try on our home front too to honor the effort, Steve.
I'll take a picture and send it to you.
You got to.
Yeah,
send a picture on that Thursday, buddy. I need the apron. And like kind of coming out of the oven, and then the first carve. All right?
The smoke.
Yeah.
The thing's on fire. Yeah, I'll give when the flames are high. When the flames are at their highest, I'll make sure and give you a shot of that.
Yeah, give me a shot. Text it on. Happy Thanksgiving to the Youngs. Be good.
Yeah, thanks,
All
Steve.
Right. Aloha.